Thank you so much. The chair now recognizes Mr. Gomez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Before I start, I want to acknowledge Susan Bro for just being here and sharing your story and the story of your daughter, Heather Heyer. She was an inspiration because she was fighting for all of us when she was down in Charlottesville. So thank you so much. I want to draw your attention to the TV screen. This is a glimpse of, I believe, what is Trump's America for people who look like me. And I would like to share some of these few hateful comments I receive on a weekly basis. Post 1 says, "Go back home and quit destroying my country." Post 2 says, "Little prick Jimmy Gomez, more than likely another anchor baby." Post 3 says, "Were you even born here? If not, you should not be in office. But if it would explain why you do not value America or American citizens, you piece of," fill in the rest. These are just a few of the hundreds of messages I receive on a weekly basis on Facebook, Twitter, through email. They're hateful, they're racist, and they're meant to marginalize the community that I represent and the communities like mine. They also echo the president's sentiments, embody his policies, and also reflect a dangerous desire for white nationalism, and also embody the philosophy of white supremacy. And the only thing I find more disgusting than this hateful speech is the public figures who endorse it, the silence of the leaders who normalize it, and the cowardice of those who fail to condemn it. And we know that the facts are on our side, that the hate crimes are on the rise, and more than half of the 4,100 hate crimes that were perpetrated by far-right extremists that occurred in 2017. We know the facts. White supremacist attacks are on the rise, white nationalists are mobilizing like never before, and they're finding a safe haven on social media platforms. But I also want to point out another fact, that hate also sometimes leads to policy, and policy sometimes reinforces that hate, as well as the rhetoric of our president. I want to enter into a record, an article from the Washington Post that says, "Trump sees immigrants as invaders, white nationalist terrorists do too."
Without objection, so ordered.
I found this article interesting because it also states, from January 2017, mass murder of 6 Canadian Muslims at a Quebec City mosque, to the mass murder of 11 Jewish converts at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, there was one theme that tied together all these terrorist attacks. The suspected gunmen in all these attacks saw immigrants as invaders of their countries. Mr. Slim, as well as Mr. George, can you talk about the connection between white supremacists and white supremacy ideology and anti-immigrant rhetoric?
Congressman, thank you for that question. So white supremacist worldview, or white supremacist philosophy is often rooted in a number of core pillars: anti-immigrant, xenophobic, anti-Semitic, and a number of other kind of hateful and bigoted ideologies are part of what make up the notion that the white race, quote unquote, is under attack and shrinking, and action needs to be taken more immediately. We've seen these patterns and trends. If you look at the manifesto of the Poway shooter and you look at what he wrote on these issues, if you look at the comments written they're publicized and brought out in many media reports after innocent Muslims were killed worshiping in a mosque in New Zealand, there is a direct correlation between xenophobic actions and ideologies and those that are executed, violent actions that are executed at the hands of white supremacists.
If I may jump in, Congressman.
Yep.
The reality is that the statistics that we've talked about that are so poorly collected or poorly tracked, they are not certainly going to track the fact that I get a text message every time an occurrence like this happens from a worried parent or from a worried constituent. They're not going to track the fact that a parent will be concerned about their child going to school tomorrow in fear of being attacked. They will not track the fact that immigrants to this country who believe in what this country's promise is, that they will, that dream of what America is somehow now tarnished. And the work that we're doing here, the policies that we're creating, that we're talking about creating, and the statistics that we're talking about tracking, all of the good work that we're doing can be wiped out in a tweet. It can be wiped out in a tweet.
Thank you. I know I'm out of time, and I don't want people to walk away thinking I'm saying all immigration policy is meant to implement a white supremacist agenda. That's what I don't want people to walk away. But the negative rhetoric that's backed up by policy, if the motivation is racist, then the policy can be skewed and not based on facts. Madam Chair, I yield back.
Thank you. As we wrap up today's hearing, I want to